Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. It's Monday morning here on the mountain and I'm just taking advantage of a little bit of quiet time to do a video outside. Before the commotion begins, we're about to start having work done around the property and there's going to be people coming and going here as my time winds down. So I've got to steal these moments and get these beautiful backdrop sceneries as much as possible. Anyhow, today I just want to talk about whole food plant-based living, getting started on that. This one's just going to be a basic video, stepping a little bit back from the raw, more towards a beginner's type thing. But anyhow, I do videos like this every day, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you'd go ahead and hit that subscribe button now and click on the little bell and check send notifications so you will stay subscribed to the channel. Now, like I say, I'd like to do these. I just want to kind of reach out to a bigger audience today, as I've mentioned in the past. So this might be something, if you're fully raw vegan, this video might not be of interest to you. It might be of something good to share. I would appreciate it if people would share this video because, and I'm not going to release any big truths or give a whole lot of specifics. This is just kind of a point you in the direction video, kind of a introductory course to plant-based lifestyle. Now, you notice the first part of that. This is not just plant-based living, this is whole food plant-based living. Now, from a vegan perspective and from an ethical perspective, yeah, I'm super happy when anybody goes plant-based, no matter what they eat. Even if they eat absolute garbage, but we might as well get bang for our buck, get the best of both worlds if we're, So I'm talking about whole foods. And when I talk about plant-based, let's just really define everything, because you hear people say stuff on the internet, so we never assume that everybody knows what plant-based is. Plant-based is everything that doesn't come from animals. No, fish is not vegan, it's not plant-based, eggs aren't, cheese isn't. Meat isn't. So anything that's meat, dairy, cheese, or eggs, that's not plant-based. As we talk about the whole foods, that just means whole, unrefined, minimally refined plants. So, so you're going to have some processed food from time to time. You're going to have things that are refined, but for the bulk of it, you just want to be eating a lot of good, fresh food, actual food. Think about this for a minute. And I've been raw vegan mostly for about 5 years now, and I sometimes have like a little flashback and think about when I used to read labels. And what must I have been thinking is I read a label that's got like 30 plus ingredients on there, and about 10 or 12 of them I can't pronounce, much less know what they are, and all those things were going into my body. Now I eat a banana, I know what's going into my body. Banana's going into my body. So real foods. And like I say, for the purposes of this video, we're not, we're not focusing on raw veganism today. We're just talking about whole plant-based foods. Fruits, veggies, rice, potatoes, pasta, whole grains, and legumes. Now, I like to get the most bang for my buck. I will throw my raw vegan perspective in on that kind of stuff. And I'm not throwing it under the bus, and you always have the kind of the religious people with rice that'll get offended, but I'm not big on rice. I don't care for rice. When I do eat cooked food, I don't eat rice. I like potatoes, especially sweet potatoes, because you got a lot of nutrients in those sweet potatoes, but that's neither here nor there. But just good whole food. I'm not trying to get you all the way to raw. Maybe you get on a plant-based lifestyle, a whole food plant-based lifestyle, you will get to raw. But let's just get you to eating good, real food first. Basically, even though it is not an animal food, another big one in here, and as I refer some people to you, it'll make a little bit more sense, but oil. I don't use oil either. And a lot of people, like whether you're doing raw, not raw, or whatever, a lot of things that I see that I like, or from the people doing the low fat version of this lifestyle, is the low fat version. There's a lot of people out there, I guess what I'm trying to say, and I'm not saying it very well. There's a lot of people that are eating cooked on a regular basis that are very clean, that are very healthy, and they eat very low fat. And the oil, that's just something I don't do. And you can get a better explanation of oils from some of the people I'm going to recommend here in just a minute. And that would be the next thing I'm coming to, is just various resources. Like I'm trying to do this video from the perspective of I've got somebody like a friend coming to me that's interested, and they're like, Jack, well, we're probably not going to ever be some raw vegan eating that all the time, but we're interested in eating a whole food plant-based diet, or even if they're just interested in being more plant-based. This is the kind of stuff that I would give to somebody that, like I say, is interested. Wouldn't even call them a beginner, like they're interested. So you think of sources. What would be the 2 top sources that I would send somebody to that is new coming to this lifestyle? Reversing Heart Disease by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, and the China Study by T. Colin Campbell. Reversing Heart Disease, China Study first kind of opened my eyes to the cancer part of the whole thing, even though it did, like China Study talks about disease is like mostly coming from one source. So, you know, he did talk about heart disease, and he did talk about diabetes, but I really got my message about the cancer research that he had done with the laboratory mice in that. Now in Reversing Heart Disease, that was all about heart disease. So I saw the heart disease cancer thing, and I'm like, yeah. So those are the 2 guys, and like I say in other videos, those are the guys that are going to resonate with a lot of people because they carry authority. Like Esselstyn is a retired surgeon. I think he's a cardio surgeon. T. Colin Campbell's a pioneer in this field. So those are 2 great resources to understand your why you're doing this lifestyle, and also to kind of get you started. It's kind of a why, but also kind of letting you, like, how to, kind of the start of how to start eating, especially in Preventing and Reversing Heart Disease by Esselstyn. Forks Over Knives. I used this as a visual aid when I was in the States last month. Forks Over Knives. Watch the movie. I'm using this for the visual aid. Watch the movie, the documentary. Go to the website. They have the website of the exact forksOverKnives.com. Now this is a new magazine out right here. There's some good information in this magazine. I'll share just a bit like I did in another video, but you won't be able to, this was their inaugural issue. You won't be able to get this one now, and there's some good stuff in there, but I'm sure each and every one of their issues is going to be good. And also go to the site. I bet you they have stuff from back issues in there that you can get. But there's so much in here. I mean, I bought 2 of these while I was in the States, and I still haven't given them away. I haven't found that person to, but this is just a great introductory course right here because it just covers basic subjects like 7 things that happen when you stop eating meat. Eat to prevent, stop, or reverse the most common diseases. Profiles like on Venus Williams. She's the best tennis player one of the best tennis players in the world, plant-based. 70+ hearty, tasty recipes. Look at that bowl on there. See, that's plant-based. That's plant-based. That's low-fat, plant-based right there. Whole foods, real food. It's not raw like all we do all the time, but it's good stuff, and it's going to save a lot of lives. And these are recipes that are going to keep you satisfied. Potato edamame hash on toast, chickpea avocado dip. Burrito bowls, California burritos, 3-bean chili. Look at that. All kind of stuff in here. I saw some good stuff over towards the back. Sweet potato. Oh, they got stews. Look at all these stews. I mean, this is good stuff. This is good stuff, and it's all great for you. It's low fat. Doesn't use a lot of salt. Ooh, there's a nice one. Pesto pasta with white beans. So the reason I'm kind of going through here and showing a few different things, Mexican veggie burgers, is I want you to see, if you're watching this and hearing about, and you're not all that familiar with the whole food plant-based lifestyle, I want you to know that it's not like you're giving things up and all of a sudden you're coming to this boring life. Like from now on, okay, maybe I'm going to be healthier, but it's going to be dull. The food's going to be dull. It's not going to be very tasty. Just the opposite. And you know what? I just want to say from this video that I am going to take advantage of, use the time. If I'm going to be in Alabama this summer, I'm going to try to prepare more food for my mother. And one will give me an excuse to do the other. I want to, fix more healthy food for my mother like I do when I'm on those short trips, and she enjoys that. So that'll be a good excuse for me. That'll be a good topic for me to do videos on, and it'll be also a good excuse for me to get her to let me cook her more food, because I can always just say, well, Mom, I need to do a video. And since I'm going to be home, I mean, I'll eat some of it, but you're probably going to notice that since I'm going to be in the States for a longer period, I won't be eating as much cooked this time. But after July, like after July 12th, 15th, something like that, I am going to be sharing some just cooked vegan, whole food, plant-based cooking on this channel. And it's just going to be some basic stuff. A lot of it is not going to be recipes. You know, I'm always telling, and I tell people this for the raw stuff, and I will tell you this as you might be interested or switching over to a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. You have to have recipes that you like, or you have to have things to eat that you like. You know, especially when you're doing the cooked food, I think the recipes might be a little bit more important on the raw, because when I do eat cooked, I don't tend to use any sort of a recipe. I just eat the whole foods. Like, for instance, a typical time would be making, like, say, having some sweet potatoes and some steamed broccoli. Maybe, like, even if I'm making stuff for my mother, sometimes when I'm in the States, I'll have like quinoa, some black-eyed peas, some sort of a steamed green, or maybe I don't. Maybe that's cooked and I eat a big salad with that. But you have to find food that you like, and there's plenty of food out there. And I think this is, I can't encourage you enough to go to that website, Forks Over Knives, because I'm sure there's just going to be a gazillion recipes on there. I mean, even from, I know people have been going to the website for a long time. The movie's been out since, I think, 2011. What else? Clean up your house. When you decide to go plant-based, get rid of the temptation as much as you can. Maybe, you know, if you live by yourself, or if you live with a family or a household the whole household's going plant-based, well, then you can get rid of absolutely everything that doesn't serve you. Yeah, don't throw it away. Go give it to somebody. Give it to a shelter. Give it to somebody that can use it. But yeah, clean the house out. But and anyhow, give yourself time. It might take you a little while. Just do the best you can. Just think about, just start shifting your focus to, I'm going to, you know, eating real food. Just start being, the first step you might not even come to this lifestyle immediately. The first step might just be looking at your plate. Like, look at every meal. After this video, look at every meal you eat for the next week or two and say, am I eating real food? And maybe your first step is just to say, like, okay, my focus is getting more real food on my plate. Getting more whole plant-based food on there, and you're going to benefit. You're going to benefit. Like I say, I didn't go into this. Is more about how to get started, the whatever. But in my opinion, a plant-based lifestyle is probably the best way to prevent 13 out of 15 of the top leading causes of death in the world. So anyhow, just my 2 cents worth. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'd appreciate if you'd pass it along to people or share it, because you know, maybe there's some people out there that just aren't familiar with the plant-based lifestyle, and they wouldn't normally be that interested in the raw part of it. But raw will get you into talking about that later, because there is an advantage to eating a lot of the living raw food, the whole raw living food with everything alive and intact in it. But that's for another day. Anyhow, see you guys soon. Peace.